Angie has made it easier than ever to hire high-quality pros to get all your home service jobs done well. Just bring them your project online or with the Angie app, answer a few questions, and Angie will connect you with local pros who match your specific needs. Or book a service instantly at an upfront price. So join the millions of homeowners who use Angie to care for their homes and get your next home service job done well. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com. Angie has made it easier than ever to hire high-quality pros to get all your home service jobs done well. Just bring them your project online or with the Angie app, answer a few questions, and Angie will connect you with local pros who match your specific needs. Or book a service instantly at an upfront price. So join the millions of homeowners who use Angie to care for their homes and get your next home service job done well. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
My son found our dog, vomiting, eyes rolling in the back of his head. He was dying. He could not breathe. And we rushed him to the animal hospital in Manhattan. When I rushed him over, they came out immediately and they put him in the oxygen tank. Dr. Birkeland informed us because of the severity of his illness that he would not be able to survive.
This is the plaintiff, Billy Cummings. She says she bought a puppy from the defendant, and the poor thing got sick immediately and had to be euthanized because it was in such bad shape. The mean defendant refuses to refund her money, even though the dog was obviously sick when she bought it and died only 6 days later. The defendant's shop has numerous complaints online for selling sick puppies, and she's here suing for $5,000 to cover the purchase price, vet bills, plus pain and suffering. This is the defendant, Ben Gill. He says the vet reports the puppy was happy-go-lucky for 5 days, and on the 6th day, the plaintiff gave it a bath, and then it got sick. The vet states the lungs became infected, and he thinks the puppy may have inhaled some chemicals used in the bath, and that's what got it sick. Unfortunately, there's no evidence to suggest the puppy was ill at the time of sale, and he's sorry, but no refunds. He's accused of dodging a dog bite.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Millian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Billy Cummings.
Good morning.
You are suing Pet Resources, represented here by Ben Gill. You're the manager?
Yes, I am.
Okay. For $5,000, the statutory maximum, because according to you, they sold you a dog that came with problems. Tell me what happened.
That's correct. Your Honor, on February 6, 2015, I purchased a miniature schnauzer from my 2 children because we lost an aunt and 2 grandmothers and an aunt, so I bought the dog as a resource. However...
Meaning they were sad and...
They were sad, okay. They were crying, they were really close to their family members, so this was an outlet for them. However, the dog was born November 30th, and we brought the dog home. He was fine.
When did you bring the dog home?
February 6th was the purchase of the dog, 2015. The dog didn't bark. We didn't hear the dog bark at all. He ate fine. He was playful. He even learned how to urinate on. He was trained perfectly, but the only thing was
urinate on. That was pad.
Yes,
right? Okay.
Yes. I'm sorry. He was trained to urinate on the wee pads, and this was like on the 3rd day. He was perfect. 4th day came around. He was fine, but we still didn't hear any barking. But I figured he was a puppy. He was fine. However, on February 13th. My son found our dog, vomiting, eyes rolling in the back of his head. He was dying. He could not breathe. And we rushed him to the animal hospital in Manhattan. When I rushed him over, they came out immediately and they put him in the oxygen tank. Dr. Birkeland informed us because of the severity of his illness that he would not be able to survive even if we took him home. Even if we kept him in a hospital, there's no way that he would survive because he was just so sick. We got the medical report. I mean, we had to euthanize my dog. This is my son, Anthony. And it was very hurtful. It was very sad. And when we got home, I began to think. And in the morning, I called Ben, and I informed him what happened. And I called the medical center so he can also have a copy of the medical report stating what happened to the dog.
And what did happen to the dog?
They said dyspepsia and these type of...
They said what?
Dyspepsia.
Which means?
Which means that the dog... There was a problem with his throat, but I have the medical report stating several things that was wrong with the dog, and they said that these dogs usually are sickly dogs, which I wasn't informed of.
What dogs are sickly dogs?
He was a
Schnauzers?
miniature schnauzer. Yes, this is what was I informed, and I have the medical report right here for you.
Okay, let me see your medical report. At some point, you speak to Mr. Gill?
Yes.
And what does he say to you?
He said he cannot refund the dog, and he was very sorry.
And did he say why?
His answer was because the dog seemed like he was fine when he left the store, he wasn't sick or anything, but there is a contract within 10 days I can get a refund. The dog died on the 6th day.
Right, under what circumstances, do you know? And I think it's 14, not 10,
it's 14
right?
days.
Right, but under what circumstances? Have you had a chance to look at the law? Or?
Yes, the law.
Yeah, the circumstances are that you have to be able to show that it was unfit for sale at the time of purchase. Did your vet say anything about that?
No, he was fine. He had all of his shots. He was up to date.
No, but I mean unfit because of something that's going on that you may not know about. I mean, you're not, there's no guarantee how long a dog will last. No. You're saying the dog was sold sick.
Yes.
So is the vet saying the dog was sold sick?
Yes.
I need to see that. Where does the vet say that? Because I've looked at every document and I don't see that. So tell me what happens. She calls you and she tells you about this, and what do you say or do?
She actually shows up in the morning before we open, and she's crying, clearly upset.
Right.
I opened the door and I let her in and I asked her what happened, what's going on. She told me that the dog was rushed to the hospital at AMC and subsequently needed to be put down. At that point, she asked me, well, what's going on? Because my guarantee and so forth. I said, well, one of the things that we have to wait on is the medical report to find out what has happened to the dog. Once the medical report came back in, I called her. I called her, and I told her, well, based on what I saw on the medical report, at no point does it say that this animal was one sick at the time of sale, and it's clearly, and most of the stuff that's on there is saying that this animal was otherwise healthy. It was a normal weight. It was basically, there was nothing there that said that this animal showed any symptoms that clearly stated that he was sick or would have been sick for a while because he had been home for several days. The medical report also says that that the puppy was home for 5 days, was happy-go-lucky, and they gave the puppy a bath, and within 24 hours after said bath, that's when he needed to be rushed to the hospital.
Who gave the dog a bath?
We put the dog in the sink. We did not give the dog a full bath. I didn't even use soap.
That's what your vet says in your vet report. He's not making it up.
Yes.
It's in the vet report. It says the dog was great. They gave the dog a bath yesterday.
Yes.
Okay, you put the dog in the sink.
Yes.
Who gave the dog a bath?
That was the bath. The bath was actually in the sink. We did not place the
Who
dog.
gave the dog a bath in the sink?
I did.
Okay. How did you give the dog a bath?
I just rinsed the back of with the cup. Actually, I didn't even run water on him. I just rinsed the back of his bottom because he did poop. And it was stuck on his hair, but I did not give him a full bath. I didn't wet his full.
You know that what you told the vet was, I gave the dog a bath, and then, I mean, there was none of this, Did the vet tell you that the dog had water in its lungs?
Yes. He said, no. He said it was crackles in his lungs. She did not mention water.
Did you say that the vet did you ever talk to the vet?
I spoke to the vet. It wasn't the vet that worked on the animal, because after one at a time speaking to Billy, she says, well, I believe this dog was sick in the last 24 hours, and
Who said that?
Billy said that.
Okay.
She said that, I believe this dog was sick in the last 24 hours and so forth. That's a
Wait, I don't understand what you just said. Billy said that to who?
To me.
I believe this dog was sick in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, that he was home, that whatever, he didn't show any symptoms before in the last 24 hours.
Right, but you understand that you could have a congenital defect,
Yes,
or it could be unfit for sale, and the symptom not come out for 5 days.
Yes,
Right,
yeah,
okay.
I do. So when she told me that, I said, well, one of the things that I am going to do is contact the hospital and ask them what they believe went on, because it's a great concern for me that if there is something in the store that puts puppies at risk and they're passing away within 24 hours without any symptoms, it's a great concern for us. So I contacted the vet and I asked them, and I apologize for not remembering the vet's name, but I said, well, what do you believe that occurred? Vet was very short with me and said, well, everything that we have, you have in the medical report. I said, well, am I concerned about something that's viral? But he says, anything that we have is in that medical report. We don't have any additional information. There's not going to be any autopsy or anything like that. And I was like, all right, thank you very much.
You take the dog to the vet, and according to the vet report, it says shortness of breath, bronchitis, elevated potassium, and he or she, who was the vet, was a he or she? She recommends that you hospitalize the dog in order to find out what's wrong with the dog.
Yes.
Right. And that the hospitalization would be about $4,000 or $5,000
A day.
A day.
Yes, because he was very sick. And even the doctor.
And which is
Dr. Burke.
Yeah, and that you don't know whether even that would help. So that's kind of nuts. I mean, I don't know.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's, at some point there is a figure where if you have children, you got to worry about, where you got to kind of assess what to do.
Yes.
But here's what's not here, and I think I'm going to take a recess and try to see if I can reach out to this vet myself and try to see if there's anything additional. Maybe they won't be curt with me, or maybe they will. I often find them curt with me. Sometimes bad things happen, to people, to animals, to all of us. Life is, we're all hanging on a thread, which is why we have to rethink the way we go through this journey and enjoy every single day. Because, all of the yelling we do as parents and all of the list making we do as, trying to get to that, accomplish, and then the next thing you know. So bad things happen, as unfortunately your family has learned a little too much in the last few months. But you can only collect in court for them if you can prove that it is as a result of something that they did. Which means, in the eyes of the law in this field, you have to be able to show through the vet that the vet has to make a declaration with the following magic words: the animal was unfit for purchase at the time of the sale. And not that just something bad happened to the dog in 5 days, which could happen, It's a living, breathing thing. Or that the dog had a congenital defect, a defect it's born with.
Yes.
The fact that some breeds are more weak than other breeds is not something people have to tell you. It's something you should research. Your vet says 0 that it has to say for you to collect. I feel very bad for your circumstances. I'm going to take a recess. I'm going to reach out to the vet because I want to make sure that I do the right thing here.
All rise.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So, can a dog get sick from getting water in its lungs during a bath? What do you think?
In my opinion, no.
Why?
Because a dog would actually have to breathe in and have the water go down into its lungs. If you're just spraying a dog, he's not going to be breathing.
Wow, you sound like a doctor. Wow.
I have 2 Goldens who swim in the on the East Coast on the bay, and they don't inhale the water.
You know the difference is like rap, East Coast, West Coast water. Going inside the courtroom.
Essentially, I think they were trying to just do exactly what you said they would do, which is resend the medical records. You have a copy of the medical records. You have a copy of the medical records. I have a copy of each of your medical records. I do not need them to resend the medical records. So like I said, sometimes bad things happen, but for him to have to pay for the bad thing, $5,000, his company to have to pay the $5,000 that you're asking for, you have to prove it's their fault. According to your own doctor, the doctor can't, without further testing, tell you what it was that happened. It's not that the vet's not cooperating, it's that the vet doesn't have it to say, because vets know the law. And if they had found clearly that it was unfit for purchase or congenital defect, they would have put it in here.
Yes.
So, so then why should I make them pay you $5,000 because of the sadness that a pet died? That's not a reason. It has to be their fault. Given that there's no proof, my verdict in this case then is for the defendants. And let me make a suggestion, because I know that this has been a financial drain on you folks. There are so many puppies looking for love in shelters, and that might be a really wonderful option for both the puppy and your child or children. Right? Good luck, folks.
Thank you.
Well, unable to prove her case, the plaintiff's out here on the losing end of the judge's decision. How do you feel about losing the dog so fast?
I feel like it was like way too fast.
Did you have time to fall in love with the dog?
Yeah, I had time to fall in love, but not like enough time.
Not enough time, yeah. Well, what about going to the shelter?
We are definitely going to the ASPCA. We have a spot in Jersey, and we're definitely.
Good luck with everything. Good luck with your next one.
Thank you very much.
All right. All right. So step on out here and tell me what you think of this outcome here.
Well, I'm glad that we were able to be vindicated and that it wasn't the case of bad pet shop. Very often, pet shops get that name tossed at them. We did everything that we were supposed to include in contacting the vet themselves to try to help Miss Cummings.
All right, let's go to the street. Harvey?
Okay, Kurt, real quickly, you have to read these limitations that they give you when you buy an animal at a pet store, although you should adopt. But if you buy at a pet store, these limitations are really tricky, and you should know what you're getting into, and it will vary from state to state on what they're required to do. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Angie has made it easier than ever to hire high-quality pros to get all your home service jobs done well. Whether it's routine maintenance, an emergency repair, or a dream project, Angie lets you compare quotes from multiple local pros, browse homeowner reviews, and even book a service instantly. Angie's been connecting people with skilled pros for nearly 30 years. So the next time you have a home project, bring it to Angie to get your job done well. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com. Angie has made it easier than ever to hire high-quality pros to get all your home service jobs done well. Just bring them your project online or with the Angie app, answer a few questions, and Angie will connect you with local pros who match your specific needs. Or book a service instantly at an upfront price. So join the millions of homeowners who use Angie to care for their homes and get your next home service job done well. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
This is the plaintiff, Marilyn Bryant. She says her son, the defendant, bought a car from her and hasn't paid her for it yet. It's very difficult for her to have to sue her own son in court, but what's right is right. He needs to be taught a lesson about how the real world works, and that's why she's bringing him to court today. She also wants her $1,400, the amount owed on the car. This is the defendant, Silva Bryant. He says his dear mother was informed she could no longer drive, and the Department of Motor Vehicles told her she could only give him the car. That's right. Under the law, she was not able to sell a car to her son, so she signed the title over to him. He doesn't owe the plaintiff any money, for crying out loud. It's his own mother, and she should give him the car she couldn't use any longer. He's accused of making a ma mad. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $1,500 for emotional distress.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff sold her son, the defendant, a car and says that he stiffed her. But the defendant says he couldn't drive. She's got the title, so she's all wet. It's the case of you drive me insane.
Okay, Marilyn Bryant?
Yes.
You are suing your son, Silva Bryant, for $1,400, the balance that you say he owes you on a car that you sold to him. Mm-hmm. You've counterclaimed against your mother for $1,500 for emotional distress. Ms. Bryant, tell me what happened.
I couldn't drive no more, so I decided to get the car, to sell my car to my son for $1,500.
May I ask you why you couldn't drive anymore?
Because my eyes are giving me a problem. I didn't want to take that chance.
Okay. All right. So you decide to sell it to him, and he agrees to buy it for $1,500?
Yes.
All right. Is that accurate so far? And then what happens?
He only paid me $100. That's it.
What happened? When he paid you $100 and didn't pay you anything else, what did you do?
I called them, never answered.
How long were you trying to pursue him to get him to pay his obligation?
I told him to sign $100 a month.
A month?
A month.
How long ago did you give him the car?
In April the 1st.
Of this year?
Yes.
Okay, and so other than that first 100, he's never paid anything?
No.
All right, did he ever say why?
No.
What did you do, just stop talking to his mother?
Yes.
Is this common behavior for him?
No.
What's going on?
All right. Basically, the situation was I was giving the car, as she would say, she was selling me the car. I was unaware that in the state of New York, as I went to go receive the car from her, that the DMV told me that in the state of New York, a mother cannot sell a son a vehicle in the state. A mother cannot sell her son or spouse a vehicle.
What?
They would have to be by willingly giving up the vehicle.
Says who? Who told you that?
The Department of Motor Vehicles.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
And if they did, whoever spoke to you was an idiot. That's just not accurate.
This is what they said when I
What
went
difference does that make with you paying? You know that you agreed to buy the car from your mother, so why would you not pay your mother? That's not an excuse.
Because I feel like I've put so much into the car. Like,
what do you mean?
I've done numerous repairs. I've done things that minor repairs. Like,
hold on. I don't care how many repairs you did. If you bought the car from me, do you think you'd be able to tell me, I changed my mind. I decided you're giving me the car because I've had to do repairs. You don't get to say that. The repairs are on you too. Why would you do this to your own mother?
It wasn't intentionally.
But it is intentionally, because look at where we are.
It was just that I thought, being that I was very responsible of keeping up with the car and maintaining it to the position where it is.
You mean beforehand?
Yes.
Before she sold it to you?
Beforehand, yes.
Oh, so stuff that what about that she wiped your hiney when you were little? Can she charge you for that now? I don't think it's funny. I'm glad you two are laughing. I'm mortified. I'm mortified. If my kid treated me like this after everything I did for these kids, I would be mortified. You should be mortified. Why would you do this to your mother? Who is the lady who's with you?
That's my girlfriend.
Come on up.
So your son stiffed you in the most disrespectful of ways. Would you sue him?
No, it's absolutely not. It's not acceptable in a family manner, because if you sue your son and you can come back and at home, eventually you guys get back together, and it's really embarrassing.
Yeah, but he's disrespected you by not paying and saying, I'm not going to pay you.
It doesn't matter. Family's family.
What do you think?
I need to sue my son. He needs to learn about the real world.
That's the thing. I mean, at a point, you got to teach the kid a lesson he'll hear. Going inside the courtroom.
You know what they say, right? They say that you watch how a man treats his mama to figure out how he's going to treat you. Right? What do you think about this?
Everything is wrong. It's wrong.
Have you told him you think it's wrong?
Yes, I have.
Okay. What did she do wrong? Do you think she did something wrong?
No.
Okay. What do you think he did wrong?
I asked him, I said, aren't you supposed to be paying your mother back some money?
What did he say to you? That's what he said to you? Not this whole DMV malarkey? Go ahead, baby. Go ahead and sit down. Sit down. How long have you been dating him?
2 years.
2 years. Cut your losses. I'm a little insulted that you come in here with this DMV story, because do you watch People's Court?
Yes.
Did you seriously think I was going to buy that?
No.
So then why'd you throw it out there?
Because
this is your
at the
mother.
time, I understand, like, it is my mother. I still love her at the end of the day.
If you love her, you don't act like you love her.
I do. We have differences sometimes.
No, there's no differences. You owe the lady $1,400. Where's her money? Not only have you not paid her back, you have the hubris to sue her for $1,500 for emotional distress. What's that about?
That's the ordeal that took place yesterday.
Which is what?
I've been threatened, called from anonymous people, roommates that I live with, about this situation.
Wait, is it anonymous or is it your roommate? That's not very anonymous.
They're my roommates.
They are your roommates?
Yes.
And they're calling you.
Yes.
They're not. That's not anonymous. You know who it is.
Yes,
the word
I know
anonymous
who it
means you
is.
don't know who's calling you.
Okay, they are calling me. I know who it is.
Okay, your roommates are saying to you.
They're getting in between the situation.
Meaning?
Of what's going on between my mom and I.
And why are they doing that?
Because they feel like in a way it's wrong and then in a way it's right.
Do they? That's why they're giving you a hard time because they feel in a way it's
Yes,
right?
or she could be very persuasive sometimes.
So your roommates are in touch with your mom?
Yes, without my knowledge.
Okay, so you're suing her for $1,500 because your roommates said what to you? Pay your mama? Why aren't you paying your mama?
They told me to pay my mother. We got into
So you deserve $1,500 over that? You got into a
I'm
little
going to
what?
tell you why. We got into a dispute, which is that I was arrested yesterday.
Oh my gosh, for what?
I was arrested yesterday for
what?
allegedly filing a false report against them.
How did that come about?
I filed against them the attack that happened in the apartment.
Earlier in the day?
Yes.
And
when
then
I came home from
how
work.
did the cops conclude that that had been false?
Because I talked to detectives and...
And you confessed that you had filed a false report?
No, they determined that I filed a false report.
Yeah, but they don't do that. They had to have independent evidence that what you said wasn't true. There had to be something other than the other guys saying it wasn't
They didn't
true.
tell me anything.
Did you end up telling the police that you in fact had filed a false report?
No.
Did you get thrown out?
Yes.
They tell you they don't want you living there?
Yes.
Were you there? Come on up. You're under oath, and I have found you to be a truthful individual so far.
I try to be.
Okay. So what happened yesterday?
Well, yesterday, he called me about like 7-something and asked me what was I doing. I said to him, I'm in my house, I'm laying down. He said, oh, well, get dressed and head over to the house. I'm on my way there. I said, okay, no problem. I'm halfway there. He already got there. Oh, they jumping me, they hitting me, they attacking me. I said, well, what are you talking about? By then, I was already at the top of the hill by his block. I see him running back up the street. I said, what happened? They jumped me and attacked me. Get in the car, we going to the precinct. We get to the 47th precinct, and we're telling them what happened, and they told us to go back to the house, call the police from there. So, yes, so the police could come back there, and then...
Meaning from your car, though, not get into the house.
Yeah, from the car. So
because it was a different precinct?
Huh?
Was it a different precinct?
The 47th precinct.
Right, but was it the same precinct responding, or would it have been...
It was the same one.
It was the same precinct.
But the reason why we went there is because previously there was a previous altercation where they took almost 3 hours to come. So that's why we went there in person.
All right, so did the police come to the location?
They came.
And then what happened?
They came, they had their lights out. I assume they saw when the police was coming in, so they hurried up and came downstairs. The aunt came downstairs, and the older sister came downstairs, and the cops asked them, what's going on, and they explained what was going on. That he owes them money. He owes the aunt money. He owes the aunt money, and
he owes what aunt money?
The roommate's aunt's money.
Oh, totally separate from this?
Yes.
Okay, and they're saying that to the police, and go on.
And they're telling the police what occurred when he got to the house. He said that the aunt punched him in the face, and the other 2 sisters jumped on him, and they kicked him and punched him until he fell on the floor, and he was in fetal position.
Not fecal.
Fetal, sorry.
I hope not.
Fetal position. Okay. And he felt a hand go in his pocket because he had just took out money out the bank to pay the rent. He said he felt a hand go in the pocket and take the money out. He said while they were counting the money, he crawled out the door to go down the steps, and they pushed him down the steps. He rolled down the steps, and the landlord was down there, and the landlord was like, I'm not getting involved with this. This is none of my business. When I got to the precinct, the aunt and the 2 sisters were
interesting.
already out the door.
Very interesting. What does that have to do with you owing your mother $1,400?
Because they're in cahoots with each other.
What? Because one of the things they said was, and you not only owe us money, but you owe your mother money? How is that her fault? That she should pay you $1,500 for emotional distress?
Because they...
What is wrong with you? I'm serious. What is wrong with you?
Nothing.
How do you treat your mama that way?
How
did you raise a kid who would treat you that way?
He was adopted when I...
What does that have to do with it? You still raised him, right?
Yes.
So how did you raise a kid who would treat you that way? How did you not teach him better?
I thought I did.
Has he ever been like this before?
No. Never.
Have you ever loaned him money before?
No.
Oh, well, maybe that's the part we should keep out of it. Right? Pay your mother back. $1,400 verdict for the plaintiff on the defendant's counterclaim. Here's a surprise, $0.
Okay, you should just all know, loaning money to relatives, because we've seen it in people's court for years, can be really, really dangerous. And this is something you want to get down in writing, and it has to be very clear. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
These are the plaintiffs, Elizabeth and James Callahan. Elizabeth says she and her husband signed a 1-year lease with the defendant, and she turned out to be the worst landlord in the world. They had no hot water in the middle of the winter, ended up moving out, and are now having one heck of a time getting their security back. They're suing for $3,781.75, the amount they're owed. This is the defendant, Nancy Chen. She says the plaintiffs up and left her high and dry, costing her a month's rent until she could find another tenant. Besides, they were smokers. The place reeked. The carpets needed to be cleaned, and she had to paint the walls to get the stench out. Owe them a refund for security? She thinks not. She's accused of being a loosey-goosey landlord.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says the defendant was a rock-bottom landlord and fleeced them, but the defendant says the plaintiffs left without notice and they were smokers who stunk up the place. It's the case of Tobacco Road.
Okay, Elizabeth and James Callahan, you are suing your former landlord, Nancy Chen, for $3,781.75, the balance of a security deposit that you feel she unlawfully withheld.
Yes.
Okay, tell me what happened here.
On June 19th of 2013, we moved into the home.
Okay, and what kind of home is this?
It's a townhouse.
Okay, and who was living there?
My husband, myself, and 2 of our sons.
All right, and what goes wrong?
Well, when we first moved in, I wasn't there initially for the first at least 6 to 8 weeks because unfortunately we had 2 sons that were in a horrific car accident. And that happened on July 13th.
Are they okay?
My one son is still going through surgeries. He's had 23 surgeries so far. So he'll be okay,
right?
But he's still in the process of going through stuff. So we lived.
And the other son's okay?
The other son had his teeth knocked out, but he's okay.
Oh, gosh.
So when we initially
were
moved,
they seatbelted?
Yes. Yes, the SUV just turned a few times, and
the one they were in.
Mm-hmm. And it was horrific. And my one son, Clint. He was hurt really bad. We didn't know for weeks whether he would live or die.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So, I mean, it was
I'm glad to hear that it's better.
Yeah. And because we were basically living up North Jersey, we were in the home in the beginning, and there were a lot of things that were wrong. There was no electricity in an outlet in the laundry room. The bathroom, the half bathroom on the main level, there was no water in the bathroom because the faucet wasn't hooked up. It was literally laying on top of the sink. There were...
Okay, but let's fast forward to at the end of your lease, you end up staying there.
Yes.
And you're now a month to month because you didn't have them sign another lease, correct?
No, we have an agreement.
Did you have them sign a new lease in writing?
We didn't. But we have the text message.
It doesn't matter. And if you want a 1-year lease, it has to be in writing. That's the law.
I have something from the law.
So you end up going... You lived there a year,
yes,
and then you lived there another how many months?
8 months.
Okay, and then you decide that you're moving out.
Yes.
And you tell her that you're moving out when?
January 25th, I believe it was.
Verbally or in writing?
Verbally, January 25th until the 30th. On the 31st of January, I mailed a letter.
A certified letter? Do you have the proof of the certification?
Absolutely.
All right, telling her that that you would move out?
That we would be moving out.
At the end of February?
At the end of Yes, I'm sorry.
At the end of February. All right, and what day did you move out?
I was out of there, we were out of there on February 25th.
Okay.
I cleaned the place, I had it cleaned, I did the carpets, and we did a walkthrough on February 27th, but we were out of there by the 25th and handed her the keys on the 27th of February.
Can I see the proof of mailing of the certified letter?
And also there, Your Honor, is when the post office attempted to deliver that certified letter the first time, I got proof there.
Right, and did they give you a note? Did you get a notice that you had a certified letter that you needed to pick up?
Yeah, that's on February 2nd.
Right, but in the eyes of the law, it's deemed mailed you have to postmark it. It's like your taxes, where you have to have it postmarked by April 15th. It's the same thing, and so long as she has proof that she mailed it with 1 month's notice, that would suffice if you have a month-to-month. If you have a lease, it's different, a written lease.
If I get notified in written on the first day of the month.
No, it's of the date of the mailing, not of the date that you get it. That's the part that you're saying wrong. And according to this United States Postal Service printout, the date that it was mailed was January 31st. Now, okay. So now, is there another reason that you kept it besides notice? Because it's not working for you in the notice.
And also the smoke in the house.
Okay, let's talk about that. According to you, you have damages as a result of that.
Yeah, the smoke in the house right now, then, we like after the move out, on that day when the walkthrough, it's night. I couldn't see, so like we after.
Could you smell?
Yes, actually I'm not that sensitive about it, but the new tenant, they're very.
The new tenant is sensitive to the smells. I'm very sensitive to it.
Yeah, so they have like we hired like a carpet cleaner to cleaning, and we buy the new paint, repaint the house, and also the smell is still there. So like we have.
Did your tenant move out?
They will move out if we don't spend.
Did they move out?
Not yet.
Okay. And can you show me the bills for...
Yeah, okay.
Were you smoking in the house?
No.
Yes.
I smoke an occasional cigar, but I smoke it outside.
Do you smoke cigarettes?
No.
Do you
she
smoke
doesn't
cigarettes?
allow me to smoke it
Does
outside.
anybody else smoke cigarettes?
No.
Was there a smell of cigarettes in your house from anybody?
It was never a problem.
From anything?
Nothing. They came to the house quite often and, walked
never
in.
said anything?
They loved us there. They were begging us to stay.
Did a walkthrough and didn't mention the smoke?
Never said a word to us.
Kept your deposit and sent you a letter. Kept part of your deposit, sent you a letter.
Right.
And did the letter say anything about smoke?
Nothing.
Can I see the letter?
Absolutely.
Yeah. If the stench was so bad, why didn't you mention it as a reason to keep money? And by the way, why did you keep exactly 1 month's rent as the money?
It wasn't done in the house. I don't understand.
In your letter, actually, your lawyer sends this letter.
Yeah, that's why.
Hold on. Yeah, your lawyer's dead wrong. Since it wasn't mailed until January 31st and not received by the landlord until after the month began. That is not the law. So your lawyer is wrong. Okay, ServPro. Cigarette smoke deodorization. Oh, they charged you quite a bit, didn't they?
Yeah.
And it is on April 23rd. Of course, April 23rd. You moved out February 27th, so that's 2 months later, there's cigarette smoke. How are you pinning it on them if you never even noticed it?
Because...
Maybe she had a boyfriend who smoked in there and then she didn't want his stench permeating her nose. I don't know.
I don't think so.
You have a second reason why you were keeping some money, and it had to do with a sewer cost that they were supposed to be paying.
Supposed to pay the sewer.
Okay. Can I see that would be in the original lease?
Yeah, it's on the lease.
Let me see that. And I take it you were never charging them for that and all the time they lived there?
You can't.
All right. The tenant shall arrange to transfer accounts to the tenant's name for all bills and utilities that shall be paid by the tenant. It says cold water, hot water, sewer is marked. Do you have sewer bills and proof that you paid them?
Because if I didn't pay it, I will get names
Well, why don't you show me the bills? I need to see the bills to see what you're owed.
Yeah, I already paid.
I know, but I need to see it. You can't just name a figure.
It's already right there. $70 quote. It's on the lease.
Do you have a copy of your lease?
Yes,
Let me see your copy. So how much is a sewer bill?
It's $70 a
Four
quarter.
times a year?
Yeah, 4 times
Right.
a year.
And how long were they there?
21 years.
21 years.
21 months.
Okay.
21, sorry, 21 months.
Your
21
Honor, we were there 20 months.
Okay, here's something really odd. Their copy doesn't have what you wrote down here.
So if smoking is permissible, can the landlord dock the tenant for yellow walls?
Well, I believe he could, not based on the fact of the actual smoke, but on the fact of the somewhat similar to graffiti.
Oh, that is interesting. I never thought of it that way. Huh. Going inside the courtroom.
That's not my handwriting. You can't prove it.
Okay, but you understand how this would make a judge go, right? When the copy they have, because this is like a notice to them saying, oh, by the way, this comes in quarterly and you have to pay $70 every quarter, blah, 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 blah. That's not here.
But it's
That's a
on the-
little odd, isn't it?
That's a lease.
Yeah, that makes me wonder, why isn't it on their lease? I don't know that I feel like giving you the benefit of the doubt under these circumstances. I find it kind of annoying. I'm ruling in favor of the plaintiffs in this case in the amount of the $3,781.75.
Thank you.
That's my verdict.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, too many loose ends in the defendant's testimony and evidence, and the judge is not comfortable, so she rules for the plaintiff. What's your reaction coming out of the courtroom?
I did what I supposed to do. I'm a good landlord, and the trust them fell to them. They take advantage of me. So anyway, God will bless the good people.
Absolutely. Okay. All right, so step on in here. Are you one of the good people that God is going to bless,
Absolutely.
you think? Okay. And so you're satisfied how this comes out here?
Very.
What went down here? What went wrong?
They just didn't want to fix anything, and the people that are in there now don't want to stay because they're not fixing anything that's broken.
How'd that smoky smell get in there if you're outside smoking cigars?
No idea.
You're inside
it wasn't
smoking
a problem
cigars.
until after the fact. And I don't smoke cigarettes. I smoke cigars.
You do?
No,
she
not
doesn't
at
smoke
all.
I'm not allowed
Never
to near
smoked.
her.
Oh, okay. Harvey?
I got to tell you, Kurt, when you're a tenant, you make sure the landlord has written documentation that you gave the 30-day notice.
Angie has made it easier than ever to hire high-quality pros to get all your home service jobs done well. Just bring them your project online or with the Angie app, answer a few questions, and Angie will connect you with local pros who match your specific needs. Or book a service instantly at an upfront price. So join the millions of homeowners who use Angie to care for their homes and get your next home service job done well. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.